what we're going to talk about is a little but powerful tool that we use to stay focused on our goals and to manifest them.
Yeah, I think we saw this whole idea the very first time I watched The Secret. And ever since then, it really got me thinking. And we decided to start our own vision board probably about 2-3 years ago.
Even when we met, I think we started one together. But that's something that I had been dabbling with. Even when I was moving around a lot around Australia, I still was cutting a few images together in either on a board or in a workbook, just to keep me focused and to when on days that I was feeling a bit low, I would look at it and be like, oh, just
this
keep
is what
going.
I want. So in a nutshell, what would you describe a vision board to be?
In an easy way, it's basically a board, or it can be a workbook if you don't have the space, of pictures that reminds you of your goals, the things you'd like to achieve or obtain in the near or even further future.
Yep. And I remember what one of the presenters said on The Secret. Sorry, Chubbs is just climbing into the... Sorry. It's going to be a trend. Anyway, yeah. It's essentially using the universe as your catalog, whether it's magazines, whether it's pictures from around, and even just for us, what we've done essentially is gone into the internet.
Gone on Google
Images and just basically copied and pasted whatever images that resonated with us, printed it out on a piece of paper and cut it out, and just basically put it on our board. So as you can see, we've got a 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals.
So today what we're going to do, we're basically going to take out from our boards things that we've actually achieved in the last year.
Yeah, so we haven't actually updated it, and I think it's due for an update now, which is pretty exciting.
Yes.
So yeah, so there's a few things that we want to take out today, and it's just amazing, not just because we've got this visualization of what we would like to achieve, but also it's essentially a check-off of what we have achieved.
And on days that you, again, I always bring that back, on days that you don't feel your best, it's great to see that you have manifested great things in your life, you have achieved great things, even though it doesn't feel like it went fast enough for you, or you'd like more and more. It's good to sit back and realize, yes, I've done a lot.
Yeah, and I think many of us just focus on moving forward without actually acknowledging and appreciating how far we've come, because we're constantly going, and I think from time to time it's important for you to just kind of take a step back and look around you and appreciate what you have and just be grateful for what you have, because we have a lot to be grateful for, don't we?
Exactly, that's a huge thing. I know these days it's thrown with mindfulness, gratefulness is thrown all around, but it is definitely something. For me, on days that I feel a bit depressed, being grateful is what picks me back up.
Yeah, and I mean, there are many times that I have goals that I have not achieved, and it may take a year, or it may take a few years, but sometimes I get distracted by everything around me, and I just take a step back and just say, what are 3 things I'm grateful for today? And it could be my family, it could be Emily, it could be the life that I have. Chubbs, who's behind the counter, by the way, you might be able to hear him. So Chubbs, so little things like that just kind of keep me on track. Yes. So let's get straight into it. So what can we pull out today?
Well, there's something, we've been to Alaska.
Oh yes! It was, yeah, I've always wanted to see the whales. I've always wanted to go to Alaska, go to the glaciers, and it was amazing. When was it we went to Alaska?
End of July last year.
End of July
to beginning of August.
So that's done. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So, the next thing was...
We moved to Singapore.
Yeah, so I think we put this in
a long time.
About 2
when
years.
I met you, no. When I met you, so we met about 6 years ago. It was already on your vision board.
Oh, there you go. And we are in sync.
It took about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
It's something. Sometimes things take time, and that's better like that. We can take it out.
Okay, so the next thing was, this one's for you, I believe. Hong Kong 100. So when did you put this one in?
January 23rd of this year.
January 23rd. You know that pretty well.
Yes, I will always remember the dates because it It was written everywhere. I had it on my head, January 23rd. So, yes.
And oh, there's another one for you, Emily.
So
this one is so cool, and it's just amazing that we're doing this right now.
So I've always wanted, since I became a vegan, two of my goals in order to influence others to follow my path was to inspire people through my athleticism, which I've been doing, and also educate. So this is why we started doing workshops, so going in partnership with others, going to people's place, so going to small venues, and basically teaching a few easy recipes, showing people that going plant-based is
it's actually very easy and cheap.
That's always my goal. I always want to show people that it doesn't take... I have a dehydrator, I have a Vitamix, but it's always to show that you don't need those things. You can actually do it without them, and you don't have to buy all the superfoods and all the expensive foods.
Yeah, it's a bonus. At the end of the day, when you think about the healthiest and leanest populations around the world, they follow a plant-based diet, and it's pretty much minimal, I would say, isn't
rice,
it?
vegetables, what's around, local as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's that. And for me, yes, it's been a while. It's still not 100%, but this was one of the moves that I wanted to achieve. As you can see, there are a few other moves that I want to achieve down here. I've got the iron cross, I've got the one arm handstand balance, I've got the planche, which I'm working on. So yeah, it's all a work in progress, but I can say I can tick this off. I'm pretty much 80 to 90% there, still training for it. So watch out for the next few videos for my progress. And yeah, get that front lever up.
Back lever?
Yeah, and get that back lever happening. So yeah, and the next one I'd like to take out is, I remember when I put this one in, I was not CrossFitting at all. And that's Rich Froning, the fittest man on the planet. And I had an idea of what CrossFit was about. I was doing my own WODs, but until recently I did my first CrossFit Open 16.1, 16.2, and now waiting for 16.3. So I would say, yeah, I've competed in a CrossFit event. So I'm pretty happy with that, but that still goes on. So I'm actually going to leave that on, just like the rest of these guys over here. Other than that, we've got a few things that we'd like to achieve. I mean, there's athletic events that you'd like to achieve, Emily?
Quite a few. I've got a few bucket lists of races that I've got listed here. Obviously, I'd say the one that pops into my mind the most is the Western States 100, which is pretty much the most prestigious 100-mile race in the world. It's held in California every year in June, I believe. And I did qualify for it through the Hong Kong 100. I have my right to put my name in the hat.
Yes.
So because basically every year there's more than 3,000 people who want to participate, and only 300 are allowed to run that race. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this year I can be picked for that race, and that would be amazing. That would be my first 100-mile race, which is 160k. But yeah, it's probably my biggest one there, but I've got a few other ones. I've got Comrades, I've got Badwater 135, which is 135 miles in the Death Valley during the summer.
So it goes up to what, 50 degrees roughly?
Yes, centigrade, so up to 120 to 130 Fahrenheit if you're from the US. Well, you've got Asian babies.
Yeah, I've got Asian babies, so a mixed baby. This was the one that I actually, because I want a girl, I want a daughter, so
we've got a mixed Asian
girl and Emily has a mixed Asian boy. So
So
we are hoping for kids.
One day.
Whenever that happens. I also would like to travel business class because of life's little luxuries, and eventually, once I create a successful brand and business, I'd like to travel to developing nations to actually contribute back to less privileged. Whether it's projects in West Timor, East Timor, in Asia and Africa, being able to help communities out. And most of all, I would say just keep moving forward, I think, in some way or form, and just achieve all our goals and make a difference in some way or form as well.
Exactly. It always points out to that, because my racing, obviously it's for me in a big part. I think everything we do is led by the ego, but at the same time, by racing, I inspire people to show them that it is possible to do so on a 100% plant-based diet, possible and optimal.
Exactly. And for me as well, just being the best version of myself, physically, mentally, and also professionally, to show that you can not only thrive on a plant-based diet, but you can be athletic and absolutely driven as well. And my goal is to create a profitable, conscious business, and that's my ultimate goal with everything that I'm doing right now.
So by showing you our vision board, we just wanted to inspire you, just show you that it is possible that we do actually achieve goals that we put on the vision board, and that even though it looks really easy, and this idea has been going around for years and years and years, it has been going around because it's actually true and it works and it's powerful. And just one thing to remember, when you put your images on your board, it's important to kind of meditate, to think about, to see yourself achieving them and how you would feel. I think it makes the message even more powerful.
Yeah. And sometimes when I'm actually down, there are times when I've doubted myself, and what I do is I put this particular track on, The Storms in Africa by Enya. And what I do is I stand in front of my vision board and look at every picture that I've put in, and imagine myself being in that picture. For example, Rich Froning holding the barbell there, me doing the iron cross, me doing the planche, me standing in front of the corporate crowd, having our kid, and just traveling and sitting in the business class seat over here, actually being in that moment, seeing, feeling, and thinking how it would be like when I've achieved these goals. And all of a sudden, I'm just perked up, charged and energized, and feeling alive, and just saying, hey, what if it's all possible?
And it is all possible.
It is all possible, really. It's really a case of how much you actually want it.
Sometimes it doesn't take the straight ways that we think it will take, but usually if you really want something,
eventually
you're gonna get there.
I guess that wraps up our session today. Always remember to
fuel
positive.